Camera's on. Thank you, I believe it is Tool World on eBay, for having building supplies. This saw blade, yeah, that thing's 8 up. I was trying to cut a pallet with it the other day, and it jumped back at me, and I about lost a fucking finger. I started looking like Ricky, which is not happening. Anyway, never used one of these Diablo blades before, but it looks interesting. We're gonna find out. We are gonna find out. Alright, so what I've got going on here, this is actually a, that's exciting, I get a Facebook notification during my video. This is 2 or 3 ribs of a pallet. I'm undoubtedly going to have to pound the other pallet that I have that's just like this apart on the side of the house to finish this project. And then here's the boards. Somebody asked about this in the video the other day about the these benches that I have over here, where I found the diagram for those. I didn't have a diagram, I just kind of made that up as I went out of this kind of pallet wood. And you can see it's absolute junk wood, you know what I mean? But they go together well, and they turn into those benches over there. So I'm going to do my best to try to show you how to make that bench. Alright, so you'll see I literally took the leg off of the other bench. Top angle, bottom angle. I'm just going to trace this as a diagram. There's some minor measuring that goes along with this to make sure you do things right, but the angles pretty much line up on themselves, and I'll show you the process that I go through as far as stacking the boards. I don't have a real method to the madness as far as figuring out the angles on the cross boards, other than just stacking, marking, and cutting. But I got to make 4 of these for table legs. And you literally just flip it over on top of itself. Okay, make sure you got enough there. Marking, okay, and in theory, this lines up. It's the same angle on the top as it is on the bottom, because I'm not a craftsman by any stretch of the imagination. But in order to try to keep consistency when you're doing these lines, when I do this is top, bottom, top, okay, and then you just repeat this until you've got 4 legs, okay? It's not rocket science, you know what I mean? You're just cutting up some pallet wood trying to make it into a bench. Alright, so this piece is going to have enough for 3 legs. So go on over to this other piece of junk wood here. Label, keep them consistent, you know, because if you're consistently inconsistent, it's consistent enough. I mean, that's just an opinion, and they're like assholes, everybody's got one. Okay, but consistency, if you're consistently inconsistent, top, bottom. Okay. And for those of you who do woodworking for a living know this is not the right clamp, but you know what? It's what I've got. And that's entirely what this project is about. It's about using what you've got, and that happens to be what I have. I'm locked in at the moment. Oh, pandemic in the world, right? I think REM said it best once upon a time. It's the end of the world as we know it. But I feel fine. I really do. I feel healthy. Lost a few pounds, you know. Got to see my kid recently. Things could be worse. Actually, I'm going to move that so that I got 2 cuts with 1 brace. Instead of 2 girls with 1 cup, I've got 2 cuts, 1 clamp. Try out my brand new saw blade and see if I can't lose a finger. Should probably take this nail out of there first, but who am I to be picky? I don't think I'm going to hit it, so I'll take it out later. A little jacked up on the bottom. Don't matter. My yard is far from level anyway. Let me do this here. And there you have a leg. Move it down and do it again. Nothing hard about this process. Drawing lines and cutting boards. I will say this Diablo saw blade that I just bought, I purchased it. I am not sponsored. However, this Diablo saw blade that I bought is fucking mint, man. It cuts like butter. I forgot to cut the bottom angle first. The best part about this is pallet wood. If you mess it up, it didn't cost you anything. There you got 4 legs. Let me see about stacking these boards up and showing you what I do there. All right, now in an effort to save wood, I'm literally just going to use this angle that lines up with the top there for the side. I went over there and measured. The spacing needs to be just a hair over 27.5 total width, bottom point over here. So let me stack these boards on here and I'll show you what it is I'm doing. All right, so you can see I've got this board lined up over here. I took the measurement. See, I've got the marking down there on the wood where the 27.5 needs to be. I'm using the leg off of that one as a template to gauge where I drove the nails in there. So I'm now literally just going to mark this right there. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the top with what's left over of this piece of wood. I'm literally going to take, after this piece is cut there, I'm going to flip that over, line it up with this mark here, draw the line and cut it, and you've got the side bracing for that. And again, it's consistently inconsistent, but I'm using exactly the same angle on every single cut, just about. And it just kind of stacks together kind of like Legos, because you can see there's a general shape there. That's another leg board that's underneath of it, just supporting it so that I can get this portion of it marked correctly. And then flip it over and then do that again, which this is the last of the 2x4s that I have, so I'm going to have to go over there and pound the shit out of a pallet to both disturb my neighbors and make the other side leg of this piece. Alright, this is what you end up with. And now I'm going to put 2 screws at each point of contact there to hold it together. So there'll be 2, 4, 6, 8 screws holding those 4 pieces of wood together. And then repeat. And for anybody who may have had the same issues that I have with my drill, and again, I'm not sponsored by these folks, these little Bosch PH2, they're Bosch PH2 impact drill bits. I got a whole drill bit set for Christmas that was supposed to be Craftsman. That shit is fucking garbage anymore. I broke the entire set. Yeah, the whole thing's broken. I went out and bought a set of these. I've been using this same drill bit for 3 weeks now, and I haven't broke the tip of it yet. So, but anyway. Again, I just go over these and I try to make sure that they are as flush to one another as possible. And again, this measurement's 4 1/4. There's not any real rhyme or reason to any of it. Just letting you know. And again, I'm literally just lining these up with my fingers. There you go. You got a leg set. Not difficult. I've been out here for half an hour, maybe. I just got to do that again one more time for the others. Then I'll start to lay the actual bench portion boards down. Alright, I guess I got to back up a little bit. Alright, so at this point, you got your 2 legs. And I have set that piece of pallet wood. That's the planks. You saw me pound those off on the pallet that I just did. These, my wife and I did this the other day. We took these off another set of 2x4s and anyway, pounded the nails out of them already because they would have nails in it, but they're exactly the same boards that I just pounded off the pallet for the 2x4 wood. I've set it there. My side spacing is at about 3 3/4 inch on either side. And then again, I'm just going to 2 screws for every point of contact that's there. I'm going to repeat that 4 times for the bench portion of this. However, I have found sometimes these boards get twisted, and I did it the other day, and there was one that had so much twist in it that, like, you see it's sitting here flat and it's level on the table. Okay, it's got good ground contact. Some of these boards are so twisted that when you drive a screw down into it, it twists the whole thing. So in an effort, I had to actually undo 2 of the top boards when I was putting in the bottom bracing on the last bench because it was too twisted. But I can't put the bottom bracing in until I put the uprights for the backrest, and I'll show you how I do that in a second. But anyway, more screws. and just send them home. I'm screwing them into this board here. And it falls down, see? There. Stand it back up. Works for me. Set one back here. Make sure we're relatively square. Absolutely not. We are absolutely not square. See, that's that. Okay, that one's got to go in. Got to go out a little ways. It's good to do this before you sink the second screw. By having one screw and one screw, it still moves. Well, it gives you a little bit of forgiveness in what you're doing. But to be quite honest, the easiest way to do this is just to eyeball it. As soon as you sit on it, it's going to do whatever the fuck it wants to do anyway. Yeah. About, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch or something worth of space in between them. As long as it looks about the same between them, you could always put, you know, you could find like a little wood shim or something to make sure they're the same. But when I make things, I pretty much just eyeball them. See, look at that. Now we got a wobble where we didn't. With this board here, I could tolerate that wobble. One the other day, it twisted it up like 2 inches, and it made it. It was almost comical how bad it was wobbling. When it comes to it, you can always just back the screws out of that board. They'll go right back into their holes. Back them out a little bit. All right. I'm going to finish doing this, and then I'm going to show you what how I'm going to trace the uprights. Okay, for this portion here, I'm literally just going to measure. Call that 34.5. and start tapering it down at 16 inches from 34.5. So let me figure that math out and show you that. All right, now for this, I've marked my 34.5 and I've marked 16. I want it to go from this 4-inch to about 2-inch. Okay, so I'm going to mark my 16, mark my 34.5. Okay, and I'm literally just going to, this is really junk wood, but I want it to taper down just ever so slightly. So I'm just going to draw a line. Okay, and I'm going to follow that line. First I got to cut it off here, but I'm going to follow that line with the saw and then flip it over and duplicate it on the other side so that I've got twin uprights. So yeah, let me cut this. Helps to plug in the saw. Anybody out there in YouTube land wants to send me a battery powered circular saw, i.e. Hello, Ryobi, Bosch. Anybody out there want to send me some shit? My $28 Walmart saw is where it happens to be at the moment. Could be kind of cool if, I don't know, somebody like Bosch started to send me things in the mail, because they make Bosch things here locally and I enjoy Bosch product, but I don't see that happening. Actually, I should probably, because I'm really kind of a hack of a YouTuber, and I don't do things by the book per se. Alright, follow this line. Like that, you got the upright. As a strange girl I once knew in my childhood would say, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Yes, ma'am, I am done with my coffee and I am rolling again. Alright, so at this point, literally you take these upright boards, just put my hand underneath of it until it lines up. It's going to end up probably with a screw here, and then 2 down there, and then repeat it on the other side. It's not very difficult. I'll cut back to that when I have these attached, and I'm working on the upright boards. Alright, so at this point, you got one last board to cut, because attachment from the top is easy. I'm going to have to see if I have a couple shorter screws for the top, because I'm not going to Lowe's, quarantine. I ordered some screws from eBay, and I got a box of 3-inch screws, and that's going to stick way out the back of that. But the remedy for that, if I can't find any other small screws, because I'm literally just about out of screws, is I'll just cut the ends of the screws off with my angle grinder on the back. And don't forget, it's going to take you forever, and I'm not going to film that portion of it. When I'm done with this, I'm still going to have to spend probably an hour with my orbital sander going over all the edges, because this kind of stuff, it gives you slivers in your ass. You don't want that. Anyway, alright, so we are at that 35.25 spread. So I got to cut a board, and this may be if you're trying to build along with me on this, these boards may have been different lengths for you, for what have you. I mean, these are exactly 48-inch boards. It's a rarity to find these pallets anymore. They come from a shipping mattress, like a mattress shipping warehouse. They're hard to find. I only get about maybe one a month, which is why I've only got 3 of these benches in my, well, this will be the 3rd one of these benches in my yard. But this measurement down here could be whatever, because you could make this, and it's wobbly. Yeah, I showed you. I'm gonna have to release one of these boards, but you could make one of these things 24, 36 inches. You could make it, even wider, Just depends on the materials that you're working with. And I mean, you could even go to Lowe's and buy these little 1x6s or whatever these are, probably, and 2x4s. You know, all this kind of lumber is very purchasable, but I don't buy it. I find it on the side of the road. So anyway, measure twice, cut once. We are at, yes, about 35 1/4. So that measurement will be independent of the project that you yourself are working on, so I can't give you the answer. Just happens to be what it is in my case. So 35 1/4. Alright, I'm going to cut that, screw it in. Then I'm going to work on the backrest boards, the same as I did the upright boards. Or excuse me, the same as I did the seat boards. Alright, just like that. That crossboard is attached. The backrest pieces are attached. I am going to have to go back over and cut these tips off because I didn't have any smaller screws, but that won't take but about 10 seconds per screw. So I'll cut those off, and then I got to get out my orbital sander, palm sander, whatever you call it, get rid of the rough edges. But there it is, folks. How to make a bench out of a pallet. Wash your hands, stay inside, watch Ozark. Yay. That's all for now.